You ever stop and think about the people who raised you? Like, really think? Because if you grew up with Caribbean parents, especially abroad, you know they gave everything they had. But the question that hits you as you get older is, who was there for them? They carried entire families on their backs. They worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs, cooked meals, paid bills, send barrels, send money back home, and still managed to make it back to the parent-teachers meeting like superheroes. But deep down, so many of them were silently struggling. When Caribbean parents migrated abroad, it wasn't for vacation or fun. It was for survival opportunity, a better life, not just for themselves, but for us. So from day one, they hit the ground running. Night shift, double shift, cash jobs, jobs that didn't even match their qualifications. But they did it. No complaints, no breakdown in public, no mental health day posts, just hustle. They cooked, cleaned, paid rent, take care of siblings, sent money back home, and made sure we had birthday parties, new clothes, and full lunch kits. But we rarely ask, how are you holding up, mommy? Caribbean culture doesn't exactly make space for emotional expressions, especially for the older generation. They were raised on toughness. Don't cry, hold it together, wipe your tears before people see it. So when they became parents, that same armor stayed on. They didn't have the tools to say, I'm overwhelmed, or I'm scared, or I'm tired. They carried the weight in silence. Every stress, every missed opportunity, every lonely night pushed deep down, hidden behind a strong face and a quick, I'm alright. But now that we have grown, we can see it. The tension in their shoulders, the tiredness behind their eyes, the sigh they let out when they thought no one was listening. They weren't superheroes. They were just doing what they had to do. And sometimes they were breaking while building us. You ever realize how Caribbean parents never took vacations? They never called in sick unless they physically couldn't move. They didn't skip bills. They didn't have fun money. Everything went towards survival and sacrifice. Why? Because failure was not an option. Many of them left entire support systems behind. Family, friend, familiarity, and they couldn't go back empty-handed. The pressure was real to succeed, to send back something, to make their children's lives better than theirs. And while we were growing up feeling the pressure to do well in school, they were quietly dealing with the fear that their sacrifices may not be enough. They did what they had to do, but at what cost? One of the things we never talked about is the loneliness our parents carried, especially those who migrated alone with no family, with no help. They navigated new systems, struggled with language or heavy accents, like mine. They endured racism and discrimination, worked jobs where they were ignored or undervalued. And when they came home, they cooked, they smiled, they asked about your day. But who asked about theirs? Many Caribbean parents were islands, surrounded by people, but emotionally isolated. And we, their children, were too young to even notice. Some of them were dealing with depression. Some of them were grieving the life they had to leave behind. Some were battling illnesses in silence, but they kept going. Looking back, it's almost poetic. They taught us to be strong by never showing weakness. They taught us how to endure by never complaining. We saw them stretch $1 into dinner for 5 and saw them staying up late to help with homework, even after a 12-hour shift. We saw them show up to every school concert with tired eyes but a proud smile. They raised warriors, but in doing so, they forgot that even warriors need rest and support and softness. Sometimes I wonder how different things would be if our parents felt safe enough to say, I need help, I feel lost, I'm scared. Would we have understood? Would we have known how to help? Or were they protecting us by carrying it all? Here's what really hits hard. Some of them wanted to be teachers, lawyers, entrepreneurs, artists, but life demanded something else. They put their dreams on pause or let them go entirely so we could chase ours. They didn't go out, they didn't travel, they rarely even got a thank you. And even now, when they call us and say, just checking if you ate today, we might roll our eyes. But that's love. That is care from someone who spent years not eating properly just to make sure that you had enough. So next time they call to ask why you haven't visited, remember, you were their world. And sometimes we forget that. Caribbean parents always aren't the most verbally affectionate. We might not have heard I love you every day, but you felt it in the hot food ready after a long day, in the neatly ironed school uniform, in the way they waited up until you got home safely, in the way they yelled at you because they were scared something might happen. Their love wasn't loud, but it was present, consistent, and relentless. They loved us in the way they knew how. And now that we're older, maybe it's our turn to love them in the way they deserve. So what do we do with all this? We can start by seeing them. Like really seeing them. Not just as parents, but as people. People who gave up everything so that you could have something. Call more often. Ask how they are really doing. Be patient with them. Tell them you appreciate what they did. Give them rest. Give them flowers. Give them grace. Because they gave us their everything. Now it's our turn to show up. They never asked for recognition. They never asked for applause. But maybe they should have. Because the truth is they gave us everything. And somewhere along the way, we forgot to ask the question that mattered. But who was there for them? If this reminded you of your parent, drop a comment. Or let them know. Or call them. Or hug them. Let them know you see them now. And if you relate to this story, drop a thank you mom and dad in the comments. Because sometimes just being seen can heal years of silent pain. Because remember, it's not just a destination, it's the journey. God bless.